They said his tweets were harmful. Now they want them by the armful. And was babbling Joe unaware. He's not the first senator from Delaware. Politico's White House Bureau Chief Jonathan Lemire. Yes, that Jonathan Lemire. White House officials want Trump back on Twitter because he'll scare voters away from Republicans. This, despite polls showing the GOP gaining voters from traditional Democrat groups like Hispanics, blacks, and dead people. Lemire said this during a show named after a German sex act.
The other thing White House officials are cheering for, a number of them told me this over the weekend, that if Elon Musk indeed takes Twitter, they hope the first thing he does is put Donald Trump back on it. They think that if Trump starts tweeting again, it'll just simply remind these voters of the crazy that accompanied his time in office, particularly around January 6th. He'll amplify these fringe messages. He'll amplify these fringe right-wing candidates, and that can only be good for Democrats, they think.
Well, that'll work. Reminding voters how crazy things were back when we weren't on the verge of World War III and when a gallon of gas cost $2 and a loaf of bread didn't cost as much as a BMW. But it's true, Joe needs help. He puts the assist in assisted living. Yesterday, he said this.
Now, there have not been many senators from Delaware. It's a small state. As a matter of fact, there's never been one.
I know.
It's like, what in the...
Actually, you were a senator from Delaware. How could you get both of those wrong? For 36 damn years! God, I wish I was that divorced from reality. He should share what he's taking with the rest of America because we've earned it. But at least he's not being outshined by his VP. According to two New York Times reporters, took two of them, Kamala Harris has felt disrespected by West Wing staff because they don't stand when she enters a room. Apparently, it's the only incompetence the Biden administration won't stand for. Let's go to The View.
She's feeling disrespected because she sees staffers in the West Wing when she walks into the room who are not standing for her, and they always stand for President Biden.
Don't you think that people, it would behoove everyone to maybe have a giant meeting and say, let's go over how this actually works so that everybody's clear, because we know that everybody has little microaggressions that they may not be aware that they're putting out there. So let's have this big meeting, and if I see you do it again, you're out.
Clutch use of the word behoove by Whoopi, especially since her co-hosts actually have hooves. But Kamala shouldn't take it personally. People stand when Biden enters the room to block him from walking out through a window. What say you, Joe?
Hey, look. Have some respect, all right? When a lady enters the room, you stand up, all right? That's the way it is. Whether it's the First Lady of the United States, Kamala Harris, or the Vice President, Jill W. Bush. I mean, you do what's right, man. Look, I'm old school. I want to go back to the old ways. Let that guy have Twitter, and he can do his thing, and I'll go into the basement, and I'll do what I do best, you know, say things like Charlottesville, January 6th, all that stuff. Look, I'm from Delaware, man. I'm the first guy from Delaware to ever do anything that I'm aware of. Delaware. I'm aware of Delaware. And anyone who says otherwise, I'll do push-ups on your grave.
Tyrus, I have to say that two-headed nerd fest on The View might have a point. They need Trump to be a distraction from their disastrous administration. And Trump's tweets, they're going to do that. Because, like, as much as I love Trump's tweets, we understand his accomplishments when he's not tweeting.
Well, I feel like they've never watched a bad guy movie, ever. The entire administration. Just so you're going to invest more in trying to camouflage your bad deeds than actually fix them. It's like the plot to keep him from becoming king. If they just would have left Arthur alone, he would have died the first night he was out from the castle. But no, they go through this elaborate scheme and these planning and all these meetings to get Trump back, because once he's back, they'll forget about inflation. They'll forget about all these issues in this country and crime rate, because they're going to be so angry that he's back. And then there's the one guy who's like, well, we could just fix some of our policies and get that son of a bitch out of here. He doesn't get it. No, stick to the plan. It's like Dr. Evil. Like, they don't get it. Like, so, and they're saying it out loud, which is even worse. At least Republicans, we do our bidding behind, and then it shows up with a great reveal. They're like, hey, we're going to put Trump back on Twitter so you guys won't pay attention to what we're doing.
Kat, you could talk about Trump's tweets, or you could talk about how what do you think of the View's advice for Kamala?
It's not advice for Kamala. It's advice for everyone else.
Yeah.
They're all clearly the problem with Kamala doing nothing. It's like, yeah, that's the meeting they need.
Yeah.
I just don't, I don't even know if she would appreciate that, though, because starting from even before she was a vice president, her campaign, her selection as the vice president, she likes to have the excuse of the only reason people don't like me is because they are racist or they are sexist. Not because I have this important job, especially when you look at, the president. And it's their fault that I haven't gotten anything done and that I'm not competent and then I just go trot around giggling. But if they had that meeting, then maybe she wouldn't be able to claim that.
Yeah.
So I think then she'd have to go to a meeting.
She doesn't want to go to a meeting. She doesn't. Yeah, if I were her, I wouldn't go to that meeting, Joey, and I'm not her.
You're not her. No, you've accomplished something in your life.
Yes.
Listen, you want people to stand up when you walk into a room? Give them something to stand for. Go to the border and bring back a solution. Go to Europe and remember what freaking country you're in.
Right.
You know what? Do one press briefing where you have a prepared answer for the questions they're about to ask you that everyone else knows they're about to ask you. And like Whoopi Goldberg, those are not microaggressions. Those are just aggressions. They don't like her because she makes them look bad.
Another name for a show, Mike Rowe Aggressions. What am I doing here? I should be behind the scenes coming up with these ideas. Emily.
Hey man, that was last night. I'm here tonight. Can we just keep?
You are
Emily, Joe.
You are our very own Joey Jones.
There we go.
Very own. Sorry, Peter Ducey. I'm so tired of hearing him. Our very own Peter Ducey. It's not like he lives in my house, Emily. Although
I feel like I say that sometimes on air.
Yeah, you do say it, and I'm tired of it, and I want you to stop. All right, last word. Make it a good one.
Okay. Well, just on that note, I think this is something that has been the hallmark of Kamala Harris's entire career, which is that all she has been seeking is the position itself without having to earn it, right? With every position she held, rising up through the ranks of California, and then the senator, and then now vice president, it was only about occupying that seat, having nothing to do with earning it or earning the goodwill. And that's why in the Bay Area, which she perceives as her home where she's from, she's the lowest approval rate actually in the country, 38% approval rate. What does that tell you when the voters who know you best like you the least?
Right.
So when she deems it's a microaggression, or Whoopi says it's a microaggression when no one stands when you walk in, it might just be plain old lack of any respect for you because you've done nothing, as you've pointed out. And it reminds me as well of that Vogue cover. She was on the cover of Vogue, and remember she had a conniption fit afterward with Anna Wintour. She said, you put me in sneakers. But Anna Wintour, the editor, said it's because we wanted you to be relatable. We loved that you were here representing all of these millions of Americans, she said, that could relate to you. Isn't this a good thing? But no, Kamala Harris wanted to be separate. She wanted to be elite because it's all about just the position. And my sort of like royalty analogy, similar to yours, is that it's just like in Gladiator when Joaquin Phoenix was all about having that one position. So he stabbed the hot guy in the side.
Oh, I hated that.
Russell Crowe.
Oh, yeah. He was like at his peak. It was at his
listen,
peak.
we can fix this right now. You guys want to like Kamala Harris? It's real easy.
Yes.
Bongos. That's all you need. That's it.
Yeah, forgot about the bongos.
You play some bongos, all of a sudden her stuff doesn't sound so up anymore.
Yeah. True. All right, up next. Liberals are shoving it in your face.